No, that little family heirloom that came in here for repair, dropped in by a lady, and it was owned by her grandfather. It goes back to her grandfather's time. So she said she knew that it existed in 1927. So possibly older than that as well, so it could be late 19th century or early 20th century, very early 20th century. So it's an oak table. It has a single drop leaf on it with timber hinges underneath here, flap hinges. So we have a rule joint on it here. So it's like a single leaf on it, which is unusual. Now the boards on the top have actually come apart, there's gaps between them there, and that's caused by the fact that the joints are, the tabletop is nailed down. It's no big deal really, but it hasn't got what's called buttons underneath it to allow for expansion and contraction. So this needs a bit of TLC, taken apart, cleaned down. It has lovely casters on the bottom, turned legs. So it's made in white oak, so it's quite a nice piece of furniture. And I hope to give it back to the lady in as good as new condition. So the first thing is to take it apart, take out the nails here, take off the tops, clean everything down, give it a once over, do the joint and rejoint the frame because the frame is actually loose, and then we'll go back and put it all back together again, I hope. So that's it. Now this little close up here of just a knuckle hinge gets its name from, literally, knuckles there in the centre of my fingers and a pin going through the centre. That's where it gets its name from, knuckle joint. Nice little detail here of course, just to allow little pulls to come out. So it's timber hinge effectively. Now the only little error that was made in a table like this is this guy here, the slot going in here, it's called a pocket screw. And the pocket screw is fine on the length of the timber, but on the width it's a no-no. You must allow for expansion and contraction of the timber. When a table like this was made, the actual timber that was used would be air dried. It wasn't kiln dried, certainly wasn't kiln dried. And that would have about 16% moisture content in it. So over its period within a drier environment in a house, let's say, the boards begin to contract. And with the screws here holding it tight, the boards actually split apart. The glue doesn't hold them anymore. And there's also moisture in there, so the glue fails. That's where we come across when we put in what's called a button effect, where we can allow the boards to expand and contract. So it's a minor detail. So we'll glue and joint the boards back together again, and we put in slots here to take the buttons. And that's it. We're dealing with air dry timber now. It's absolutely perfect. There's not a sign of a flight hole from woodworm or anything in the table. It's absolutely perfect. It's as good as it was on day one. And so that's just close up of the knuckle joint and the pocket screw, which has to become on the width of the board. That has to become what's called a button to allow for expansion and contraction. Wood is macroscopic. It's like ourselves. It actually breathes. So that's all I can say about that. We'll tap all that apart, that'll come apart, it'll all be cleaned down, and then we'll put it back together again. As I said, I've explained the tops there when we're going to do it, and we're going to joint them right now. Give it a thorough clean, and then we'll head back to the reassembly stage and repolishing it and put it back into pristine condition for the next 100 years. Okay, okay, so I removed the top of the table now, and because there's water damage mark on it here, and the surface water got onto it through a leak in a roof or something like that, so there's a stain on it there, so we'll try and take that out. Now I don't want to remove too much of the old finish, so what I've decided to do in this case, after assessing it, is we'll take 3 very light passes over the surface there, and then we'll take the rest down by hand. So that's it, it's shown up there, it's a nice bit of white oak. So we'll do that, we'll do the edges, join the boards together again, rejoin them, because all the joints have actually gone, so they have to be redone again. And I have this here, which is the rule joint, that guy there. That's called a rule joint, which allows the table to fold down there. So that's it, we're going to take this apart. The joints are loose in this guy, all our joints are loose there, mortises there are loose, so the glue is perishing, so then we'll have to take them out. And we clean down all the joints and we put it back together again. So I'll just give it, okay, so I've had the tops down clamps overnight. That's the end result of there, those 2 boards jointed. I'll just take the clamps off of these. It's always important when you're clamping oak, or any material for that matter, but especially oak, to put something in under the clamp there to keep it off the bed of the table, simply because if the glue contacts with the steel here, you get corrosion, so you get oxidation in other words. What that'll do is the tannins in the oak will actually stay in the timber. In the mix with glue, chemical reaction will cause a purple stain on the joints, and you can't get it off. So it's always vital that you actually put something underneath the plant. I just use a couple of biscuits there, or any little lash, anything at all will do, just to make sure that doesn't happen. So now they're all done, it's time to take off the clamps here. Back and do another time. Now you can see here's our tabletop. We surfaced it. So I see some of the old dry marks all the time. We'll take them off. They can be taken off rather than take too much off with the surfacer. There's a lot of holes in it as well, so we'll have to address them. We'll plug them or do whatever we need to do with them, and we'll sand it all up then and get it right as rain again. Clean all the edges, of course. The edges there have to be cleaned. That's not such a big deal. And we'll be good to go then to put it back on the tabletop itself. Next phase is take the table apart, clean the joints, get it back together again, have that clamped up, and then we come back and work on the top. So that's the progress to date. Over now for now.